As mentioned, this channel is going to be all about bringing you as much value as I can through the experiences that I have, what I consume, interactions I have, conversations I have, and all of that sort of stuff. So today's topic, I want to talk to you about making news or making the news rather than watching the news. It's something that I have heard about in the past, but I haven't ever really sat down and given a lot of thought and think about, well, what does that mean to me? What could it mean to me? What does it mean for someone else? And how would that provide value, or how can I extract value from that? If it's been worth someone else making some content about it and selling that content, I've consumed it. Okay, how can it provide value? That's actually a really awesome point. You can often have something in your hand. Let's say you have some content, you have something to consume. You get to choose the value. It's not even today's topic. You get to choose if you want to take value out of that. You get to choose this interaction I've had with someone. Do I want to take value from it, or do I want to, and that's a very conscious decision. I've had interactions, it'll probably be a topic for another day, but I've had interactions with people that I've walked away being really frustrated. And it really may have gotten under my skin, the way they spoke to me or something like that. But rather than holding that grudge or keeping that frustration, one guy in particular, he was a speaker at an event, and I listened to him speak, and I thought, wow, amazing guy, awesome speaker. And then afterwards, we were interacting at morning tea, and just the way he spoke, it may have been in jest or a joke, but I found it a bit unnecessary, and it got under my skin. But rather than thinking, okay, what could I, I'm going to let that get to me all day, I thought, no, this guy's very intelligent. This guy's very clever. This guy's very successful. He's a fantastic communicator. Let me help try and understand him more. What can I learn from this guy? I went and bought his book. I'm actually busy listening to the audiobook at the moment. Really, really great book. And learning a lot from him. And it's completely changed my take on him. One of the big things I've taken away so far from the book is his approach to life is very much, I'm here to make, yes, I want to provide value, but I want to make this life of mine, I want to control the outcome. I'm going to control the energy in the room. So that makes a lot more sense why he acted the way he did, or says the things that he does, is because he wants to be in control of the outcome or the energy or everything in the room, which makes sense. That's the more you're in control of the actions and what's going on, the more you are going to control the outcome. And if that outcome is more in line with the goals you have, makes total sense. So it was a really good just a lesson there. Hope you guys get something from that. But that's actually not today's topic. Today's topic is making the news or consuming the news. And that idea of, are you on the field making the news that someone can report on, or are you on the sideline just spectating? One of the biggest factors I've found that has helped with that is setting up goals. Am I clear on my goals for the day? Because that will then help me go, okay, this is what I want to achieve. Let's work towards that. Let's make the news. Let's make that newsworthy. I'm going to interact with this person. I want them to have such a positive experience that they go away and then tell someone else, man, I just had this really awesome experience with JP. And most of the time, I try to make that in all interactions of all areas of life, but it is very challenging. I find I can do that at work. It's a very conscious decision, and less conscious outside of work. So it is something I'm working on. But a great example that I had to really raise this point was I was at a speaking gig recently. I wasn't speaking. Someone else was, and they then shared a piece in their book, which was a story about someone who was actually running the event, who was trying to make the example as applicable to all as possible, rather than being super specific to a particular industry. Let's say it was on site. It was a builder, and one of the trades was on site, interacted with him, and was really blown away with the way that this builder interacted with him. Really positive, showed genuine interest and care, asked him questions, asked how he was going, and wished him a great day, and then went on and had a lot to go do that day. And this guy could see that he had a lot to go do, but he made time for him. And that was such a positive interaction, and that guy hadn't experienced something like that before. And he went home and told his wife. And then later on, when his wife, who was the speaker at the gig at this event, she noted that down in her book, contacted the builder. The builder said, yeah, you can use that story. And then they started interacting, and there's some cool stuff that came from that. But that's a great example of this builder went out there with the conscious decision, I want to provide value. And that in many ways just means me showing genuine interest in people. But to such a great level and genuineness that it was noteworthy enough for that person to come home and talk about it. Now, that would be an achievement enough, I think. It just so happened that this lady was also penciling a book about leadership. And this builder in particular is a fantastic leader and leads very well on his sites. And so it became then newsworthy and noteworthy to put down in her book and use as a case study for her book. And now that book's been published and has gone out, which I just think is a fantastic example of being mindful of, as what I'm doing every day and how I'm interacting with people, is that noteworthy? Is it newsworthy? Is it providing enough value, so much so that this person wants to go and share it? Now, they don't have to go away and share, it depends on your goals. They don't have to go away and share and say, hey, JP just did this for me, or he said this, or I just had an awesome experience with JP. But more, can they take the feeling away from that interaction in terms of that was really positive, and they can go away and feel really good and take that good feeling into the rest of their day. Or maybe we can help them realize something. That's something I am wanting to work on in terms of being a better listener, a better communicator, and helping people see more value in themselves and believe they can create bigger goals and go after them. But in terms of, again, this idea of making the news versus consuming the news, I see it as a very practical sense in terms of just being at home. Do I want to scroll on my phone and doom scroll and then get distracted? Or do I want to, put that down and make the news? Do I want to sit down with my kids? Do I want to play with my kids? I've got younger kids. Do I want to play with them? Because that's going to be really newsworthy for them. That's going to be, they might not go and tell anyone, but it's valuable to them. And that would be me making the news, making something that is worth noting or writing down or sharing, rather than sitting there and just consuming someone else's news. A quote that I came across this morning, which kind of ties into this, is the idea of, as I said in the beginning, if you write down your goals every day, it's really helpful when it comes to being conscious about your actions during the day. But if you are not writing down your goals every day, and again, it's something I'm working on, but writing down your goals every day means you're going after those goals and taking actions towards it. When you are not, you are going to be simply, most likely subconsciously, helping someone else achieve their goals and not working towards yours. And you might say, well, that's a good thing. That's really selfless. In a way, if it's a conscious decision, if it's a conscious decision that you go out there and help someone achieve their goals, totally. I'm in all support of that. It's one of my goals. But it has to be conscious. If you're just floating, then you're most likely also going to just be consuming the news and not making the news. So really hope that's been helpful today. I know there's a whole bunch of topics that got thrown in there. My mind went in all directions, but looking forward to recording the next video for you guys next week. See ya.